Hey, what's up guys, it's Apollo Uchiha here, back with another part of What If Naruto the Blonde's future. And before continuing this video, I have already uploaded the new movie and it's also an unscripted one. If you haven't checked that out, please check out that as well. And if you haven't, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you like the content of this channel. And guys, buckle up cause this is going to be 1 hour long as I promised. And without further ado, let's continue our story. Naruto tossed and turned in his head. The headache had been subsiding, but now that they came less frequently, the headaches were much more painful. A man with pale skin and pale blue hair was staring at him, floating high above the Konoha Stadium, the lilac eyes laughing hotly. "Now this shall end it," the man shouted as he floated in the sky, sending the largest chakra bomb Naruto had ever seen. Jumping out of the bed in cold sweat, Naruto panted. "Morning, Naruto." Minato entered through the door. "Are you okay?" Yeah, just a bad dream." They walked out and joined Kushina at the table. "So Naruto, we were going to talk about those headache of yours. Lady Tsunade did a quick check on you yesterday, but I want you to try and tell us what you think is happening." Kurama stirred from his slumber briefly, explaining to Naruto what was happening. "Seriously? Man, time travel sucks." "Are you talking with the Nine Tails?" Minato asked. Nodding his head, Naruto explained. "Alright, so my original body is still back in the present, and time hasn't stopped. I'm just something like a clone. When I return back to my own time, I'll vanish, and all the memories I got in here will return to the original me." "Wait, so are you the real Naruto?" Kushina asked. "I am." "How does time work for the future, you?" "Kurama says that years might pass while I've only spent a week here." "Sorry that you're missing out on your life back in the future." "It's alright, cause I got to meet you guys. I finally got to know what having a family is like." Naruto smiled, sharing a group hug with them. Link break. Inoichi sat at his usual seat with a bowl of takeaway soup by the corner of the Hokage's desk. "Good morning," he greeted. The Uzumaki family nodded in return to Inoichi and the rest of the audience. Inoichi began after everyone had been seated. An orb appeared. "Let's show them what we're made of," Naruto shouted to his friends and allies. The Ten Tails started creating a large chakra bomb inside the barrier. "Previous Hokages, brace yourselves." It crashed against the barrier as it twisted and contorted, but the barrier held firm. Back with the audience, "The Ten Tails is barely having an effect on it," Tsunade said. "But still, that is one serious barrier. To think it could hold the blast in," Obito awed. Back with the orb, Hashirama created clones and went around the barrier, opening entrances for the shinobi to enter. The Ten Tails began to grow out smaller clones to protect the main body. "It's splitting itself, so it doesn't intend to let us get near the main body without a fight," Hashirama concluded. Sakura jumped forward and landed a punch to one of the Ten Tails clones, a diamond seal on her forehead appearing and darkening in color. "Looks like I finally finished charging now. I can finally release my full power." She threw a right punch and the Ten-Tail clone was sent flying back with tremendous force, jumping into the air and thundering back to the ground. She punched the earth, sending large chunks of it splitting into the sky. Back with the audience. "That was the time I knew I could never poke fun at Sakura again. She'll turn me into a stain." Naruto nodded. Tsunade was smiling throughout. "What raw power. It might even be greater than yours, Tsunade." Hiruzen chuckled. "She will master the creation rebirth seal." Back with the orb. The three of them were back to back. "Keep it up, boys. If the two of you keep bickering, I'll end up snatching the seeds of Hokage from under both of your noses." "Oh, come on, not you two, Sakura." "This time, we're doing this together." Back with the audience. The screen showed all the former Genin teams working together with new techniques to level the playing field. "Oh, the new Inoshikacho combination looks good," Inoichi commented, watching how the three of them combined techniques to create a human yo-yo. Inoichi scratched his chin with his free hand. Don't mind if I use this on my future mission with Shikaku and Choza. Back with the or picking them off, then slipping through not gonna be a problem. Jump in and close the distance in one go. This guy got the power to seal the deal. Even with all these injuries, they'll get treated in no time. In my current condition, it's something I can easily accomplish. All three of them slammed their hands into the ground and summoned their respective representatives. Back with the audience, a new three-way deadlock, Tsunade smirked. Never thought I'd see the day. It's indeed a new age, Hiruzen agreed. The moment Jiraiya saw Gamakichi grow up, no, he wailed. He really has become like his father. Back with the orb, Naruto and Sasuke sped towards the Ten Tails, throwing a Rasen Shuriken and a flame control arrow. It merged together mid-fight and crashed into the Ten Tails together. A throwing star that shaped like a windmill and an arrow that even darker than black lacquer. We should name it. It's the Spiraling Light Storm Pitch Black Arrow Mark 0. Minato smiled to himself. Back with the audience, nerd, Jiraiya whispered. That's too long for a name. Kushina shook her head. The scene changed again. Oh lord, Orochimaru enters the fray, Rin said. Back with the orb. You don't seem to be holding up well, Tsunade. Karen and Suigatsu started to argue. Orochimaru started to get migraine. You both as abnormal as they come, so try and be civil towards one another. His tongue slipped out and slithered around the ear. If you refuse, I'll bind you with my snakes and send them down your throat to control you from within. Back with the audience, Obito shivered. Dude, that's so gross in so many levels. Why do all of the three Sanins have their own quirks? Kakashi drawled on. Back with the orb. Tsunade sat up after a while, her youthful appearance back again. Try and be at least grateful to me, Tsunade, she scoffed. You already betrayed the village once. Why do this now? I got a handful of interest now. In the past, I took the role of becoming the wind to manually move the windmills. But now I found joy in waiting for the unknown winds that can blow at any time. I would hate for that wind to be stopped before it could relish and enjoy it. Back with the audience. That is still super creepy. And he is still preying on kids. Obito made his point. Back with the orb. An enigma is always, huh? Tsunade sighed out, but you've changed, even if a little. People change. It's just a matter of whether they die before it happens. Although he died just the way he was. Orochimaru, if you had changed just a little sooner, then Jiraiya wouldn't have died. Us Sanins were like that from the start. We never could see eye to eye on many things. Never on the same page. Eventually, would find something that twisted us. Back with the audience. The screen started to change once again. Are the 5 Kages going to enter the battle? Tsunade asked Naruto. After you healed all of them, they made their way to the battle. Gaara even saved my life. Obito. Rin gasped watching the future Obito writhe in pain on the ground. Half of Obito's face was covered with black skin, slowly crawling over to the rest of his body. What's happening? Minato asked. Madara is trying to force him to use his samsara of heavenly life to bring him back to life, so he can become the Ten Tails host. He's being manipulated by Madara's chakra? Jiraiya yelled. Back with the orb. Boys, you're closest to it. Stop the technique of the man standing atop the Ten Tails at once, Hashirama yelled to Naruto and Sasuke. Minato flickered to where Obito was kneeling down and cut through his with kunai. Sensei, Obito groaned. Obito, this time it was you. Back with the audience. The flying Rajin seal I placed on the masked man. I just keeps getting worse. Obito groaned, falling into himself. Sorry about it. Sorry about this, Sensei. It's alright. I'm sorry I had to cut through you. Minato pointed at the screen. You don't look too good either. So this is the end for me, right Naruto? Naruto face told it all. Are you kidding? I still do more? You're the one that becomes the host of the Ten Tails. Naruto sheepishly said. Oh, come on! Back with the orb. The Ten Tails was being sucked into the Obito's body, wherein he managed to prevent Madara from manipulating his body. That because this has been his desire all along, to become the host of the Ten Tails. Obito stood up. Back with the audience. Whoa. Kakashi looked wide-eyed. Hate to admit it, but that looks cool, Jiraiya said. Back with the orb. Obito hair became entirely white. His skin was also white and had 10 protrusions from his back. A black assortment of 10 Magatama markings appeared. His entire right side body gained a scale-like appearance with two horns on his head. Obito sprouted chakra hand and grabbed the four corners of the barrier and pulled, making it collapse on itself. I hate to put it bluntly, Hashirama groaned. That guy is stronger than I am. Back with the audience. No way, stronger than grandfather, not a guest. I might be rude for saying this, but I agree. Even if you cancel the remaining clones, they'd still be outclassed, Fukaku informed them. Back with the orb. Out of nowhere, Obito appeared in front of them and tore through Hashirama's wood clone and Tobirama's. Tobirama threw paper bombs and techniques at him, but Obito was shielded by a black dome. Hiruzen took a large shuriken and cloned them multiple times, all of them sent flying towards Obito. All the shurikens were either broken instantly or waited as Obito flew towards Hiruzen. Back with the audience. That is true seeking orbs, is it not? Hiruzen asked. It's the same thing, yeah. Naruto nodded. It's similar to Onoki's dust release, but the shape is more dynamic, so it can be constantly maintained for offensive or defensive. Huh. What a thing. Back with the orb. Don't make a fuss, Naruto. All the Hokages are reanimated. They know that they won't die, so in order to analyze the enemy's technique, they plunged right into the fray. Back with the audience. Quite the exceptional boy, Minato. Fukaku complimented. Minato snorted. As expected of my son. Back with the orb. Obito's body mass expanded greatly, mid-flight as he crashed to the ground. I see. As a host, he's not used to the 10 tails yet. While in this state, I'll defeat him. Minato sped towards Obito. It's been a while since I've used my flash ring dance. Howl technique. Back with the audience. Impeccable at naming as always, Minato. Jiraiya ground. Back with the orb. Obito launched a black rod at Naruto but was caught just in time by Sasuke Susanoo. It's not you. The one that will cut away the past is me. Naruto and Sasuke were both grabbed face first by Obito, his hands opening up to show the truth-seeking orbs about the piston launch itself into their heads. Back with the audience. No, Obito yelled. Oh god, I'm going to kill them. Idiot, if you kill them, how is Naruto still here? Kakashi trolled. Back with the orb. Obito screamed. As back with the audience. The sound haunted the audience, some trembling at the sound and visual that followed. This is where he becomes in sync with the 10 tails. He pretty much becomes the second sage of 6 paths. Back with the orb. At long last, Sensei. Obito spoke as he blocked Minato's kunai with his staff. Minato teleported away just in time but lost an arm in the process. Dad! Naruto, don't lose focus. Back with the audience. Well, at least now we're both missing an arm, huh, Naruto? Minato smiled. Back with the orb. He got me, but I'm alright. I used the flying legend to avoid further damage. Are you sure about this? Obito pointed to Minato's stump. A truth-seeking orb was attached to it. The truth-seeking orb started to flash and expanded. But before it could do anything, Tobirama appeared and teleported it back to Obito. I have a gift for you, badass. You can copy my old man's technique. Not too shabby, old dude. Who looks like the second Hokage? Naruto grinned. Actually, it's fourth who's menacing my technique. I'd appreciate if you could show me the respect deserving of the second Hokage. Tobirama mumbled out, irritated. Naruto and Sasuke ran forwards, the Russian Shuriken Amaterasu merging as one. It looked like a fiery black windmill. It hit Obito dead on. Hinata! Sakura yelled. What happened to Naruto and Sasuke? Hinata activated her Byakugan. They're both smiling. Link break. Back with the audience. That was one hell of a memory, kid. And kind of fun to watch, in a weird way, Kushina said. No, it was not. It was not fun watching myself turn into a good-level homicidal maniac, Miss Kushina. Obito groaned, but Obito said softly, I did look cool as hell though. The next memory is starting, Hiruzen told them, as they got attentive. Being a powerful god is cool and all, but Not when you're trying to kill all the shinobi kind, Minato nervously laughed. So now because of the chakra nature of Obito's weapons, the reanimation body are now as good as mortal, meaning you'll have to fight as if you were alive. That's troubling. It deletes the whole point of reanimation then, Fugaku sighed. Back with the orb, Kamakichi shot a stream of syrup water at Obito, who put up a shield letting it drip down onto the ground. Obito, wasn't your dream to become a Hokage? What led to this? Naruto closed his eyes and began amassing nature's chakra. We're way past the point of lectures. Wouldn't you agree, Sensei? Well, it came to life-changing events. You were always a step ahead. I'm glad my sensei was the Hokage, Obito sighed. Thanks to that, it was easier for me to let my dream die. Back with the audience. Why, you selfish bastard! Obito bit his lip till it drew blood. How dare you spit on senses like that? Father, Itachi pulled on Fugaku's sleeve. The frog's water technique wasn't negated like the rest of the techniques that the other used. You're right. Fugaku looked at the sticky water, still dripping off the truth-seeking orbs. Is Sage technique is weakness? Itachi, you're smart! Naruto gave him a thumbs up. You're absolutely correct. Sighed. Obito's right. Sensei, Team Minato voiced her disagreement. Indeed, if I had inclinations that it was Obito back then, I might have been able to stop him. If I had done that, perhaps Kushina would have died, and Naruto wouldn't have had the 9 tails put in him. If I had noticed it was Obito, this world wouldn't have become what it is now. He clenched his fist. Kushina put a hand on his shoulder. Back with the orb. Despite being my master, you failed to recognize your own pupils. You always had the oblivious nature that you from the moment I met you. I can't help but pity you. The hallowed martyr shamed in front of his son, Obito mocked. Yes, a mere Hokage is simply fodder compared to what I have become. Naruto looked up at Obito, eyes ablaze. Someone who had never become Hokage has no right making fun of one who was. Tobirama put a hand on Naruto's back. And more than anything, don't. They vanished and appeared in the air. Naruto slammed the Rasengan into Obito's back. Talk shit about my old man who actually became a Hokage. Back with the audience. Naruto. Gotta support my old man. Minato grinned. Back with the orb. That was quite the touching speech your son just gave there, Minato. A deep voice called out, enough to move even this half of me. Back with the audience. Is that the other half of the 9 tails? Yeah. From what you told me, you're friends with the Kurama too. Minato was bemused. I made friends with the 9 tails? Back with the audience. Orb. Minato, were you always really planning on having your kid wipe your ass for you? That's why you left the remaining half of my power seal inside of him. Seems like wishfully thinking on your own part that both halves would be able to cooperate when the time came. 9 tails. Minato looked up at the large fox. It's that very son of yours who's trying to make a difference. He's no longer a snot-nosed punk by the time tomorrow rolls around. Back with the audience. The orb fizzed and changed the perspective to Naruto and his half of the 9 tails. Back with the orb. The 10 tails prepared 3 chakra bombs to fire out in different directions. A barrier was erected to keep the whole blast in. Back with the audience. He's going to kill everyone in one go, Minato said in horror. No, not if I can help, Minato said. Back with the orb. With things the way they are now, we don't have any choice but to teleport them. Fourth, can you handle 2? Tobirama asked. Without marking, I can only manage 1, but there is other way. Obito laughed. Do you really think you can teleport the entire tree? More importantly, do you think I'd sit idly and let you do it? You won't be able to save anyone. Naruto walked up to Minato. Dad, I don't know if this will work out. Bump fist with me. Minato was confused but bumped fist anyways. The two set of 9 tails met. Hey, sexy bastard. Long time no see. How have you been? Naruto's 9 tails spoke to Minato's. Obito opened up his shield. Naruto, that man is utterly useless. He couldn't protect your mother or his own very pupil. Do you know what day tomorrow is? A beat passed. It's the day Minato and Kushina died. It's the anniversary of their deaths. When you die, everything about you ceases. That is the cold hard truth of this world. Is that really? Naruto smirked. Oh yeah, then that makes tomorrow my birthday. Back with the audience, Minato looked surprised. So we'll win and celebrate it. Back with the orb. Get it through that thick skull of yours. Nothing coming to an end as long as I'm still alive. And here, back with the audience, our Naruto is grown up into a man's man, Kushina. Minato smiled at his girlfriend. Definitely. Believe it. Back with the orb. Let's do this, Dad. Hell yeah. The audience continued watching in seated suspense. The orbs are just getting bigger and bigger, Kushina said, watching with fear. Back with the orb. He's planning on taking us all out by nuking those things right inside the barrier. Back with the audience. Nice observation, genius. Tsunade scoffed. Back with the orb. What's our next move, Naruto? Sasuke asked. For now, let's just concentrate. Back with the audience. Our Naruto, he's really grown up. Minato told Kushina, who nodded her head, eyes not leaving the screen. Back with the orb. Out of nowhere, the Nine Tails chakra cloak returned to all the shinobi inside the barrier. This is Naruto's, Lee started saying. I thought it was gone. Jugo moved up to Sasuke. Sasuke, things are going downhill quickly. We have to get on the other side of the barrier. Use your summoning technique. That's what I plan on doing. I'm bringing you and Naruto, stated Sasuke. Naruto looked back at them. That's right, I haven't given you guys my chakra yet. Come here, I'll split some with you. Can we really get through this with just that chakra? Back with the audience, Fugaku sighed. Looks like he unfortunately inherited my stubbornness. Minato laughed slightly at her husband. Back with the orb. The orb contacted the barrier, causing it to twist and bend. Containing the force of the large chakra bomb, some smoke sprouted out the top of the barrier, releasing it all into the surrounding air. Back with the audience. Did they all make it in time? Rin asked fearfully. Back with the orb. Everyone was standing outside the barrier. Back with the audience. How? Tsunade asked. Back with the orb. Before this happened, I had already shared Kurama's chakra with everyone. Tobirama cut in. Explained it himself. Simply put, Naruto allowed his chakra to come into contact with the force, thus linking all the shinobis in with the shinobi alliance to him. Naruto jumped front. My power's just oozing all over the place. Let's do this. Naruto, your favor is admirable, but Tobirama started. There is no possible way that you've forgotten that only sage techniques are effective, right? I mean, that would put you on an entirely different level of idiocy. Back with the audience. Idiot, Jiraiya said. Idiot. Hiruzen facepalmed. Kakashi closed his eyes. Baka. Minato sighed. Even Kushina was pinching the bridge of her nose. Back with the orb. I totally forgot, Naruto yelled. Back with the audience. Maybe the tears I'm crying aren't tears of joy, Minato joked. The screen changed to enter Naruto's mindscape, and the Nine Tails arguing about the sage chakras. Back with the orb. Now that you mention it, during my sage training you totally got in the way of the old sage techniques, didn't you? I didn't have any intentions with room sharing with the frog. Alright, furthermore, so long as you have my chakra, my ego couldn't stand having you rely on sage techniques, understood? Naruto grinned and pointed at the Nine Tails. You're such a stubborn bastard. Take one to know one. The Nine Tails shot back. Minato and Naruto made two large constructs of the Nine Tails and landed large Rasengans onto Obito, but was blocked by the black shield once more. Naruto started building up a large-tailed beast bomb. Back with the audience. What are you trying to do? Minato asked. I'm adding the sage technique to the beast bomb. That's how it gonna be, huh? Jiraiya smiled as he looked at the screen. Back with the orb. The tentacles suddenly sprouted from Obito's back. Shall we begin? Out of the 10 tails, a large tree sprouted, reaching high up in the sky. From the ground, it looked as though it were touching the moon. The tree branch spread out, racing towards the shinobi. It grabbed many of them. The moment the tree branches wrapped around the shinobi, they were quickly drained of chakra and until they were a mummified husk. It sucks up there. Chakra, huh? In one fell of swoop? How terrifying, Hiruzen said. How, lass, if you wanna live? Kushina shouted at the screen. Why is Mr. B getting so many of the branches? Rin asked. Probably because he has the 8 tails inside of him. I think they're responding to those that have highest amount of chakra and send out the respective numbers of branches, Itachi commented, rubbing his chin. Very good observation, Itachi. Fugaku praised his son. So, what is that thing? Minato asked. That's the god tree. Chakra was something originally only belonged to the god tree. All the chakra here on the battlefield, Naruto gulped. The owner is simply taking back what is rightfully theirs. There was a fruit that grew on the god tree. Nobody was allowed. How do you know all this? Tsunade asked. Mother does like to monologue. Naruto groaned, continuing. Nobody was allowed to lay a hand on the fruit, but there was many conflicts, so a princess decided that someone should get to attain the fruit, and that person was Kaguya or Sasuke. Naruto made the little tree with his hands, which made Kushina giggle. Kaguya had the power of God and ended all the conflicts, so she gave birth to one son, and that son was the person who tamed the 10 tails. When it tried to get its chakra back, the person was Hagoromo or Sasuke, otherwise known as the Sage of Six Paths. So he wasn't a mate after all, huh? Jiraiya nodded. Back with the orb, Naruto was caught by multiple branches and was quickly drained of his chakra, but the branches surrounded her were all turned into woodwork when Hiruzen destroyed them all with his staff. Old man, Minato whispered out. Being punctual was never my strong suit. Back with the audience. Thank you, Lord Hokage, Minato said. Jiraiya and Tsunade also nodded to their previous sensei, who just smiled. Back with the orb. Just lay there quietly, Obito mocked. Your suffering will soon come to an end. Shikamaru lay on the ground, his face pale and hollowed in, his cheekbones deathly visible. Oi, oi, this isn't looking good. Katsuyu, let's use long-distance healing. That's not possible. Katsuyu shook her body. Why? Back with the audience. Katsuyu's body used tiny clones as a meaning to pass chakra to others, but all of her clones have probably had their chakra absorbed and died, Tsunade explained. Shikaku's kid isn't looking too good, Inoue said, looking at his friend's son. Back with the audience. Back with the orb. Let's the grief and regret end here, and just resign yourself to fate. Obito spread his arms wide. The gigantic tree is an extension of Obito, almost as if they're his limb that absorbs chakra, Hiruzen told himself. A landing sounded was heard from behind the Hokages. That's rather pessimistic. It doesn't sound like you at all, Sarutobi-sensei, Orochimaru landed. Back with the audience. The scene changed to a large portion of the tree looming over the shinobi. They've lost the drive to continue, Hiruzen sighed. Which average shinobi wouldn't? Look at that thing. It's huge, Mikoto shivered. Back with the orb. Sasuke used his Susanoo to destroy the large tree branches. Naruto, is that all you got? I'm just getting started. Flashes of Naruto's memory poured through the telepathic link that Ino had created. Shinobi from all over the battlefield delved into his heart's feelings. Naruto looked up with renewed determination. I won't let it all go to waste. Link break. Back with the audience. The next memory is starting, Inoichi called out. Are these Orochimaru's thoughts? Tsunade asked. I forgot we could hear thoughts now, Jiraiya laughed. Back with the orb. Sasuke, your abilities have yet to speak. I'm certain from the wisdom I have attained from countless experiments and analyzing data, the day will come when you transcend Madara. Fugaku nodded in the audience. Back with the orb. Tobirama watched Naruto from a distance and smiled to himself. Naruto Uzumaki, you really are the spitting image of my older brother. Thick-headed, overly compassionate, and a tendency to stick your foot in your mouth. And still, people adore him and depend on him. Back with the audience. I am so proud. Minato beat his chest and laughed. Back with the orb. A cloak started bubbling around Shikamaru. Naruto is doing this subconsciously. Ino looked out to the shinobi. Just the strong will come from his heart to save Shikamaru, making his chakra move. I know because I can clearly feel it with my own technique. Back with the audience. Shikaku's kid isn't a pushover. He'll make it. Inoichi nodded, as everyone agreed with him. Back with the orb. Naruto, seriously, you've always been like that. Shouldering all the burden, trying to do the impossible, Shikamaru thought himself. old man this entire time. Naruto's been depressed about traumatic and painful events in his life, yet he persevered through them by sheer willpower. I came to know this all only after the fact, though. I don't want him to go through anything remotely similar to those things ever again. Either way, I guess the only thing I can do is be there for him right now. A memory with Shikamaru and Shikaku voiced out. He'll become a vital shinobi for the entire village. I feel compelled to follow him down whatever path he chooses. He has that kind of effect on people. Back with the audience, Obito wiped tears from his eyes. I'm looking forward to the day you become the Hokage, kid. Jiraiya ruffled his hair. Don't make us wait too long, Tsunade huffed. Back with the orb. Unlike the first Hokage, that he doesn't have a brother like the second for him to open up and talk to. That's precisely why. Shikamaru popped himself up with one hand weakly, looking up at Naruto's fighting. When he becomes Hokage, I got to be his right hand man. Sorry, Pops, but I won't be joining you just yet. There's no one but me who chose to play the role for troublesome Naruto as his advisor. Troublesome plant. Back with the audience. Thank you, Naruto. With your chakra and willpower, you saved him. Inoichi smiled, shaking Naruto slightly with the hand on his shoulder. Looks like you got yourself a brother-in-law, Minato laughed. Wished we could have met. Back with the orb. My apologies, grandfather. Tsunade turned to Hashirama. No need to apologize, Suna. Hashirama shook his head. I've dragged my grandchildren's generation into my problems. I'm the one at fault here. But your dreams have also continued on to your grandchildren's era and will continue further from there on out. Yes. Back with the audience. That's what we call the Wheel of Fire. Tsunade spoke for herself. Sounds like you're full-fledged Hokage, huh, Tsunade? Hiruzen chuckled. Well, I might as well get some practice in before I start. Tsunade scoffed. Hiruzen looked at the skin. Naruto Uzumaki. Right now you have brought everyone together as one. Your life may have been far from perfect, but it has made you who you are today. You, Hiruzen pointed at Naruto with his pipe, will be an example for everyone to place their hopes and dreams onto their own chest. Back with the orb. Let's go chase down our hopes and dreams. Hashirama rallied the shinobis as they charged towards the gold tree. We're off. We're chopping down the big tree. Back with the audience. Let's go, Obito cheered. Isn't it weird you're cheering everyone on to kick your ass? Kakashi droned. I am the villain right now, so why wouldn't I? Kakashi smiled underneath his mouth. Hey, never mind. Back with the orb. Orochimaru, are you simply going to stand idly by? Hiruzen asked. I have nothing to gain by this war, Orochimaru sneered. But Obito, fulfilling his dream would be equivalent to seizing all my precious experiments. They lent us a hand. Before tree branches could grab Hiruzen, they were stopped in place by large winding snakes. Fine. Now let us reminisce for a moment. Hiruzen followed up by cutting the branches in half with his staff. To a time when I was the discipline and you the teacher, Orochimaru laughed. Back with the audience. Never thought I'd see the day where the two of you would fight together again. Jiraiya eyed the screen. It is just as surprising for me as it is to you. So the Shinobi Alliance has decided on an all-out offense formation, Fugaku commented, looking at the ninjas how they were faring. Back with the orb. Obito blocked the oncoming attack from Naruto and Sasuke. It was past bedtime for you two. I'll send you off to Dreamland now. I don't have a second to waste. Back with the audience. There's still the side of you that refuses to acknowledge or even search for that silver lining. Minato started looking at Obito. The inner turmoil must be tearing you apart. I feel like Obito nodded his head. That my older self is trying to seek out the answer in Naruto. Back with the orb. Why do you continue getting up? What are you fighting for? Is it for your friends? For this world? Listen, eventually friends will stab you in the back and your love for this world will slowly rot in hatred. You should already know these things by now. You have no valid reason to fight for this world. Soon it will cease to exist. So why do you insist on fighting? Back with the audience. We Uzumaki folks don't give up easily. Kushina winked as Naruto laughed as everybody let out a sigh. Back with the orb. Naruto stood up shakily. Because it's my ninja way. I don't go back on my word. I'll take a nice long sleep tomorrow when I can dream on my own. Sasuke and Naruto combined their powers as they readied their attack once more. Back with the audience. Become the fangs that will grab a hold of tomorrow. Hiruzen smirked. Whoa, you're combining the Susanoo and the Nine Tails together. Obito gasped. I never knew that Susanoo could be used as an armor, Fugaku said, equally as surprised. Back with the orb. Grasping from straws will change nothing. You're merely postponing the inevitable. Obito looked up at the sky. Above you, tell me, what do you see through that hole? The moon. The moonlit dream world is finally upon us. The moonlit dream will fill this hellish void. Finally, the time has come. Back with the audience. It's true that people will laugh and ridicule an idiot. Kakashi started looking at Naruto, but when an idiot that gives his all in the face of overwhelming odds. Back with Orb. Naruto friends one by one leapt into the tail of the Nine Tails chakra, each in front of the Rasengan. Back with the audience. People can't help but lend that idiot a hand. They think everyone realizes sooner or later is that whatever void they carry in their hearts can be filled by the people around them. Obito fist bumped Kakashi. Back with the orb. Chakra cloaks like the one Naruto has formed around their shoulders. These Rasengans. I'll leave in your hands. Use them to destroy this shield. Back with the audience. And those whose hearts are filled by their friends, Rin smiled, can overcome any obstacle. She hugged them both. Back with the orb. As the Susanoo swords crashed into Obito's blade, flashing forward, Obito and Kakashi stood over Rin's grave, both in Anbu uniforms. Shinobi waited for Obito as he looked up at the stone carvings of Hokage past years passed as he changed wearing the signature green flagged vest of the Jonin, and soon after he was dressed in the Hokage robes. His face also carved on the wall. Back with the orb. Back with the audience. Why am I seeing these images now? Obito asked. Perhaps these are your heart's truest desires. Back with the orb. The Nine Tails cut straight through Obito's, pulling the tail beast from him. Garas reached out for Shikaku's. I was originally the host of the One Tails. I shall do it. Pull. If we succeed, he'll only be the shell of the 10 Tails, which means the flower won't be able to bloom, Kurama shouted from within the mindscape. Back with the audience. I used tug of war. That's like my best game. Remember Minato back in the academy? Kushina bounced in her seat. Minato sweat dropped, thinking back about how his team tasted the dust multiple times because Kushina's monstrous strength. Did you really say monstrous strength? Kushina cracked her knuckles. I said that part aloud, didn't I? Minato sighed, and everyone nodded. Back with the orb. Naruto, you're the one that asked us for help. So that what we'll do. Until the very end. Kiba leapt onto the Nine Tails construct. Not just us, Shikamaru laughed. All of the shinobis on the battlefield leapt down, grabbing a hold of Minato's own Nine Tails chakra like a rope. Back with the audience. My chakra is leaking out again. Obito watched his chakra melt with Naruto's, changing the screen. Back with the orb. Obito stood alone in vast white landscape. In front of him was Naruto before he was replaced with an alternate version of himself, standing amongst the Konoha shinobis. I'm regretting my actions? Obito flinched. You told me that you didn't want to be anyone, and that your own existence didn't even matter. Stop it! Get out of my head! Naruto smiled, but face it, you wanted to become the Hokage, just like me. It might appear as though I've been chasing after your shadows at times, since I've always looked up to the Hokage. Obito looked at Naruto and angered. That was the old me that I've already casted aside. Things like that are... He was cut off. Back with the audience. God was a stubborn prick. Kakashi and even Rin nodded. Yikes, Minato laughed. Back with the orb. Then why can't I see it? You can't hold it. Even behind the mask, you're a friend of Kakashi-sensei. You're a subordinate of my dad. You're Sasuke's relative, and someone that held the same dream as me, as a shinobi of Konoha. What do you want from me? Back with the audience. Trying to save your dumb ass. That's what it is. Obito gritted his teeth. Back with the orb. You're Obito Uchiha, whether you like it or not. I'm ripping that mask off of yours. Back with the audience. The mask of lies is finally coming off. Nodded arms fold. Everyone agreeing to her with a nod. Back with the or Obito Uchiha, you say. Obito face remained neutral. I am no longer a human. I'll be the one to guide humanity onto the next stage. Someone that is a fusion of both his will and body. I am for all intent and purposes the second stage of Six Paths. Nope, you're Obito Uchiha. But look at what you've become now, turning the entire shinobi world in your enemy, while going on about how it's all for the sake of the world. You're just twisting things so it will be convenient for you. You won't get any recognitions from anyone, not even from the most important person to you, with your current dream. You, who once held the same dream as me, you're becoming the exact opposite of the Hokage. You were just like me, so... Back with the audience. Are you okay? Obito Rin asked. Yeah, just a little depressed at what I'm looking at. I really am doing stuff that no Hokage would do. Back with the orb. The things I'm doing aren't any different from what a Hokage would do. In fact, I'd say I'm going above and beyond their duties, since I intend to materialize global peace. Back with the audience. Are you actually kidding me? Jiraiya ground. Back with the orb. Do you really believe that's what you're doing? Obito closed his eyes as a memory of his younger self flashed by. Him and Rin were sitting on one of the Konoha stone benches, Rin helping him apply some of the medicine to cut on his cheek. Rin, you're saving me. Is the same as you saving the world, you know? Rin tilted her head in confusion. Because I'm going to be Hokage and all, and put an end to this war. So, if I'm not in tip-top conditions, well, you get where I'm going with this, right? Yeah, it's just all a bit too surreal, Rin giggled. So you know, if you don't stay by my side and watch over? Link break. Obito blushed at his seat while Rin tilted her head in confusion, matching herself in the memory. Rin, can we have a talk outside? Kakashi asked. Okay. She walked out of the room. Minato was about to stand, but his shoulder got death gripped by Kushina. Honey, we're going for a woman's only talk, okay? Yes, yeah, sure. Minato laughed nervously as he sat back down as Kushina walked up to Rin. Kushina jabbed her finger into Rin's forehead. Spill the beans. What? Rin rubbed the red spot on her forehead. Someone in love, aren't you? Kushina giggled. With Obito. Don't tell Kakashi, Rin shouted. Eh? Kushina blinked. Kakashi? Kushina scratched her head. Oh well, I chose the wrong guy. Please don't tell Kakashi, I'll tell him myself one day. Her eyes sparkled with determination. Alright, let's go back. They made their way and settled down again. Link break. Back with the orb. Obito walked closer to Naruto. The Hokage's singular object should be world peace. How can you say that? Naruto clenched his fist. What we want to know isn't where the shortcut is. It's how to walk down the dangerous unknown path. To be honest means to endure that pain. To walk in front of everyone and lead an example, to be one who destroys an obstacle and paves the way for everyone else. Naruto held out his hand to Obito. There are no shortcuts in becoming Hokage and no shortcuts to run away from it once you become a Hokage. Obito looked at his arm, remembering a memory of a time long past. Come back to us, Obito, as Obito Uchiha of Konoha, and accept your punishment. As you are now, you're still just running away. If Rin was still alive, she'd probably say, stop putting up that front and trying to hide behind it. Remember, I'm always watching over you. Back with the audience, Obito started sniffling in his seat, Kakashi patting his back awkwardly. Back with the orb. Don't try to be anyone by yourself. You can't stop running. Naruto pushed his hand forward. We're waiting for you on this side, Obito. Obito reached his hand out. Back with the audience. So finally, the conflict ends, Jiraiya sighed contentedly. Back with the orb. And Naruto grabbed back the neck, roughly choking him. Back with the audience. Obito! Minato cried out, taking out a kunai but fatherly instinct. Minato. Kushina grabbed his arm. Calm down. He realized that he had grabbed a kunai and sheepishly sat down, putting it back into his weaponry pouch. Sorry, Obito, I wasn't thinking straight. It's okay, Sensei. Obito sniffled. Just being an ass as usual. Back with the orb. I'm happy standing on this side of the fence. The path I choose, choices are bait. I'll do it all again if I could. Don't make me repeat myself. Naruto ground out. If you really believe that, then quite daydreaming about what it would been if you had become Hokage. Naruto punched Obito, sending him careening backwards. When Obito looked up back again, his younger self replaced Naruto. The person Rin wanted to stand next to and watch over wasn't that, it was Obito Uchiha. The land changed to a forest where Minato and Kakashi were waiting for himself and Rin. Back with the audience. Are these feelings my guilt feelings? It doesn't seem like deep down you regret your actions. Tsunade commented. Back with the orb. Rin? Obito turned his head to see Rin running past, his old self in tow. 3 Obito stood behind him, transforming into Minato, Kakashi and Rin. His younger self in front of him held out a hand. You know, as you are now, Rin wouldn't even throw a glance in your direction because the person she wanted to watch over and stand next to was Uchiha Obito. It's time you put an end to this facade because no matter what happens, you're still Obito Uchiha. Naruto grabbed his hand and pulled gingerly. Quite the shy guy routine and just get your ass over here. Outside the mindscape, the shinobis finally won the chakra tug of war as the tail beast chakra escaped from within the Obito. Back with the audience. They did it! Rin bounced happily in her seat. Back with the orb. Obito laid on the ground, defeated, looking up at the sky and the moon. He held out a hand. Rin. Back with the audience. The void in his voice that he tried to fill alone is starting to close. Risen nodded. You don't have to do everything alone, Obito. Rin clasped his hand and grabbed Kakashi's hand so that all the 3 of them were on top of each other's. We're here for you all the way. Kakashi nodded. Got that dead last? Obito's lips trembled as he nodded. Yeah. So, have you finally found out how you are? Obito rubbed his head and eyes. I'm Obito Uchiha, damn straight. Back with the orb. Sasuke surged forward to Obito, sword drawn and ready to end the war. Sasuke, wait! Obito watched as Sasuke charged towards him. Back with the audience. Wait, no! Minato shouted, standing up. So this is how it ends, huh? Back with the orb. Before Sasuke could land the decisive blows, Kakashi appeared atop Obito. Sasuke, we can save the talk for later. Sorry for bargaining in all of a sudden, but he was once my friend and contemporary. Let me take responsibility, Kakashi sensei. But now he's... Naruto was cut short as Kakashi lunged forward with his kunai, only to be stopped by Minato. Obito, when the chakra was being pulled out, I saw the inside of your heart. It looks like my son gave you quite a nagging talking to. It looks like he inherited that trait of his motormouth mother. Back with the audience. I don't want to see my students killing each other. Minato smiled before feeling an murderous intent from behind him. Kushina cracked her knuckles, laughing slowly. So you think I'm naggy and motormouth, do ya? Calm down, Kushina. I was just kidding. You know, Minato held both his hands out, but that didn't stop him from getting punched by her. Back with our, but that was originally your role. Minato looked at Kakashi, the one that really understands him and can say anything. I believe that you, his friends, Kakashi, can do it. Obito spoke for the first time since he was defeated. Rin was the only light in my life. After losing Rin, the world I saw changed. It became a pitch black hell. I had no hopes for this world. I walked this world in Madara's stead, but that only served to deepen my conflicts. Even with the Sharingan, in the end I wasn't able to see anything. There was nothing at all. Back with the audience. Fool, the Sharingan isn't some omniscient technique that allows you to shape the future. You must actively do it yourself. Fukaku clenched his fist. But don't we have the Izanami? And Mikoto put a hand around Itachi's mouth. Let your father have his moments, Itachi. Mikoto sweat drops. Back with the orb. I thought this world was hell as well. Kakashi looked down at Obito. I thought I had lost you, and I lost Rin soon after that. And then I lost Minato sensei as well. However, I don't know for certain either, but I strained my eye in trying to see through the Sharingan that you gave me. I felt like I'll be able to see. Back with the audience. Alright, we can. I give these eyes to Kakashi. Obito laughed. He deserved it more than I do. Back with the orb. Are you speaking for Naruto? Are you going to tell me why his path won't fail? Back with the audience. No, there is a chance Naruto might fail as well. Nobody is infallible, Jiraiya stated. Back with the orb. He might fail as well. Nonetheless, Kakashi looked down at Obito. What I can say is that he is less likely to fail than you were. Why? Obito asked. Because if it seems like he about to stumble, Kakashi stood up straighter. I'll be there to help him. Back with the audience. You're grown up well, Kakashi. Minato patted his back. A splendid ninja, your father would be proud of you. Kakashi nodded, looking at the screen. Back with the orb. Why would you help him? He won't give up on his dreams and bow to reality because he's that kind of guy. Plus, he is drawn to his comrades. If it seems like he is about to stumble, they'll be able to help him there, as he will. And the more support there is, the closer his goal becomes. That's how you differ. In the dark night sky, the moon now covered by the clouds. A large sparkling light could be seen in the distance. Can something like that really exist in this pitch black hell? Even you should have been to see if you try to look. You and I carried the same eyes after all. If you had trusted your friends by your side, your hopes would have taken shape. You perhaps would have been able to see. Kashi looked over to where Naruto held a large Rasen shuriken. That's what I believe, Obito. Back with the audience. Thanks, Kakashi. Obito cried a little. We'll be there for you when you need us. His eyes finally see the light. Fugaku smiled, nodding to himself. The screen fizzled, signaling the change of the memory. The screen showed a panting Hashirama and an immobilized Madara. Grandfather finally managed to stop Madara. Took him long enough. Tsunade coughed. Back with the orb. Obito made a hand seal similar to one Nagato made. Back with the audience. That's the rebirth technique, right? Jiraiya spoke. Spot on, Naruto said. Back with the orb. Not in my wildest dream did I ever think that I would walk the exact same path he did. Obito wheezed. Summer of heavenly light. I think I finally understand the reason why Nagato betrayed me. Obito panted. When the feelings and emotion of a group of people become unified, it really does become quite a powerful device. Seeing as how both Nagato and Naruto were Jiraiya's disciples, it'd be fair to say that Jiraiya's the one who defeated me. Back with the audience. Well, if you put it that way, Jiraiya puffed his chest. You could say, I am the prophesied savior. Tsunade and Hiruzen scoffed and amused. Hey! Jiraiya flashed red, and Minato and Kushina chuckled at his senses antics. Back with the orb. Sensei. He was also your mentor and the man who trained you to become Hokage. Since I, who was your disciple, gave up on becoming Hokage and failed to resonate my feelings and emotion with my comrades, I no longer have the right to meet up with Rin in the afterlife. And you're okay with this? Continuing living and paying penance for the sins you committed? Kakashi asked wide-eyed. Obito laughed. No. That would simply be taking the easy way out. Back with the audience. Don't give up this time, Obito. Minato told his student. I won't. Obito gripped his fist. Back with the orb. Before Obito could finish his technique, he was grabbed from the ground beneath him as a black statue appeared. I'll help you pay your penance. Back with the audience. Obito! Rin cupped her mouth. What's happening? Madara is coming back to life. Naruto shook it out. Back with the orb. Madara laughed. Naruto words can't express the thanks I owe you. By simultaneously extracting all the tail beasts from Obito, you saved me the hassle of weakening him to a vulnerable state. No hard feelings, Obito. This has always been my one and only purpose. Black Zetsu slowly said. The technique was initiated as steam wafted from Madara's body, laughing madly. Back with the audience. Oh God. Kushina held on to Minato's hand as everyone watched with wide eyes. Back with the orb. At last I can finally fight at full strength. Amazing, this sensation of having an actual body, feeling my blood boils, feeling my skin crawl as I crush skulls. Madara's heart thumped wildly in his chest as he looked over his new body. But as his new body became finalized, Madara's eyes started crackling away until there was hollow sockets. Back with the audience. Looks like his reanimated eyes didn't carry on. To dear God, what's that? Jiraiya pointed at the screen. I'm going to be sick. Minato covered Kushina's eyes. Ah, it's better for you not to look at this, Kushina. Is it because Madara has a really hot body? I mean, you don't, Minato, but is Madara defined? Kushina, not this time. Back with the orb, the man who learned to wield both the power of the Uchiha and the Senju shall come to know ecstasy. Which one do you think I settled in for? Madara has Hashirama's face implanted on his left breast. Looks like you delved into some rather nefarious thing after leaving the village. Madara leapt forwards, killing multiple shinobis that were in his way, grabbing Hashirama by the neck and absorbing his chakra. I'd be lying if I said things have been going according to my plan, but beggars can't be choosers, right? Back with the audience, he's absorbing Hashirama's stage chakra. Jiraiya looked at the face implant on Madara, slowly gaining the sage markings. Sasuke! Mikoto looked on as her son leapt in front of Madara, trying to cut him down with his blade. That reckless idiot taking after his father. Fugaku sunk into his seat. Back with the orb. We won't get a better chance than this, Sasuke shouted. After we take your life, you can enjoy your one-way trip to hell. I'm going to make you regret abandoning your reanimation form. Die! Madara left the sword piercing his bicep, grabbing the hand with his free hand. I can sense it, your Mangekyo Sharingan. You'll have the straight swirl. I see why your movements are so fluid. Your eyes will suffice until I get my Rinnegan back. What just happened? Kakashi asked, sweating heavily. Madara, Obito has come back to life. You've fulfilled your purpose, Obito. And now that you use the Samsara, you aren't long for this world. Your duties are now complete as such. I'll be taking that left eye of yours. Black Zetsu reached around to Obito's Rinnegan. Back with the audience. Don't you dare touch him. Minato jumped from his seat. Back to the orb. Black Zetsu merged with Obito like a parasite. As long as we share this symbiotic relationship, Obito will continue to live until his breath is final breath. I'll make use of this body to impede you in any way I can. At least now he'll be put to good use. Back with the audience. Gross, get off my body, Obito protested. Madara stood atop of Shinobi's body, offhandedly absorbing the fallen Shinobi's chakra. He looked over the ten-tailed beast. It's about time I hung down, you filthy monsters. Back with the audience. I hate to admit, but that is seriously cool pose, Kushina art. Link break. The scene changed again to Madras being pummeled by the tail beast, hit by paw and hose, sent flying around the battlefield. Obito commented, "Does he go down so easily?" "You wish," Naruto joked. Back with the orb. Before Gaara could fully seal Madara away, his blue Susanoo was activated and it pushed itself out. This is what happens when you give your pets too much freedom. This time I'll put leashes back on you all for good. The beasts used their tails to repeatedly smash down on where Madara was, creating a large crater in the ground. Back with the audience. His arms, Rin pointed. "Oh well, an arm. At least you injured him," Fugaku said. Back with the orb. A white Zetsu appeared on the ground. "Apologies for my delay, Lord Madara." Madara cut off Zetsu's hand and reattached it to himself, and at the same time implanted a Rinnegan into his right eye socket. Now the real fun begins. Madara started crackling like a madman before using a summoning technique, and back at Obito's end, the Gedo statue erupted from his back and it vanished, but not before Kakashi could land a Komui on it. The Black Zetsu tried reaching for Obito's Rinnegan but was stopped midway. "Just give it up already. You're not long for this world anyway. This left eye is merely a rental you got from Nagato. It's time to return it to its rightful owner. There have only been two people capable of awakening the Rinnegan, the Hermit of Six Paths and Madara Uchiha. Someone of your pedigree was never meant to keep something like this long term." Back with the orb. The scene changed back to Madara. His injuries have healed. "That's the result of him absorbing the Sage Chakra," Jiraiya said grimly. "The tail beasts are being blown back." Tsunade yelled. Back with the orb. See, Madara made a hand sign which made the Gedo statue creak its mouth open. All the need was to be tamed a bit. Now they'll be much more willing to go on their leashes. Tail shot out of the Gedo's mouth as they lashed on to the tail beast. Now then, time to extract the 9 tails and the 8 tails from the host. Grama! Naruto shouted. Back with the audience. Shit, this is bad. Minato whispered. Naruto! Kushina yelled as everyone saw the 9 tails getting ripped from Naruto. But if the 9 tails is taken from you, you can't be here, Jiraiya said. You should be dead. Back with the orb. Naruto was sped away by Gaara as he tried his best to relay the plan the 9 tails had told him, before it was sucked away by the Gedo statue. While Tobirama was distracted, Madara Sasuke leapt from behind, but was trapped mid-air by an unknown force. This world created by Hashirama is full of inconsistency and incongruity. Madara picked up Sasuke's blade. You have to sacrifice one to protect another, be it a close friend, brother, or even my child. Madara moved the blade to Sasuke's chest. Back with orders. No! Mikoto wailed. Fugaku closed his eyes when he heard the wet scrunching of the blade cutting into his son. Back with the orb. I gave you more than ample time to do something, Madara said as he ran Sasuke through the length of the blade. Such a pity. Back with the audience. Sasuke! Naruto wailed, sobbing, tears streaking down her face. Kushina was crying equally as hard as she saw Naruto's lifeless body being carried by Gaara. Back with the orb. Gaara landed in front of Sakura and Tsunade. I have no time to get into the details. Hokage, you're coming along. Naruto has no choice but to recuperate on his way. Hang on, don't give up now. I will definitely save you. Sakura's hands glowed faintly green before it fizzled out. Back with the audience. She's running out of chakra. Tsunade gritted her teeth. The screen showed both Naruto and Sasuke side by side. Naruto's face turning deathly pale while Sasuke bled out on the ground. Minato gripped his son's hand tighter while Fugaku put his hand into the prayer, confronting Mikoto while she cried. So, what's the plan now? You have a plan, right? Minato asked quickly. I was unconscious, but for what I've heard, you saved me, Dad. Naruto smiled. Then, what about Sasuke? Mikoto wailed. He was saved. By whom, I'm not sure, cause Naruto pointed to himself, kind of unconscious. Mikoto and Fugaku accepted that answer because as long as their son was safe, then that was all that mattered. The world could burn for all they cared. Back with the orb. Where are we going? Sakura yelled over the winds. To where the 4th Hokage is. How long would it take us to get there? It's like kilometers away. Sakura pulled down Naruto's shirt and made a scalpel with her fingertips, cutting a slit into Naruto's side chest. He reached manually pumped his chest. I'm not going to just allow someone to die so easily on my watch. Gaara wrapped a tendril of sand around Sakura's as he sped up considerably. I'm taking off. Back with the audience. The screen changed to show Karin tearing through the wooden construct. Another Uzumaki? Kushina asked, wiping her teary eyes. I need to get to Sasuke. Move it, asshole. Chains rampaged through and crushed the wooden like sticks. No way. Damn, you go, Karin. Sorry, I said Karen. Karin. So he got to watch. The same power as Kushina Uzumaki, Orochimaru analyzed, chuckling to himself. Back with the audience. Madara has absorbed the entire Gedo statue. Hiruzen looked on it as horror was on his face as Madara assumed a new form. Back with the orb. Madara hair turned white as a cloak with Magatama symbols appeared, his 6 truth-seeking orbs floating behind him as he held on to a black staff. So this is the power of the 6th pass. All the missing is left is the eye. Back with the audience. They're nearing Minato. Kushina watched as Sakura gave Naruto mouth-to-mouth execution. Don't die, Naruto. Your dream is right in front of your eyes. Back with the orb. Your two are quite stubborn. The black Zetsu sighed as he watched Minato and Kakashi charge up their signature attacks. Naruto landed in front of Minato, still unconscious. This is a message from Naruto in 9 tails. 4th Hokage. If you put that half of the 9 tails that is inside you into Minato, into Naruto, then you can save him. Kakashi, please take care of him. Minato casted a quick glance at Black Zetsu. Before Minato could transfer his nine tails into Naruto, he was interrupted by Black Zetsu. You late, Black Zetsu, so I decided to come here. Back with the audience. We're doomed. Obito moaned. He is the hair bringer. Kakashi clenched his fist of despair. Back with the orb. As long as my Lord Madara is here, even if I leave this body, you all don't do a thing to me. Black Zetsu started leaving Obito, but was held back by him. Obito panted as he forced Black Zetsu to latch onto his body. Not just yet, Madara. I want a word with you. Madara held out a hand. I want to rise above all this and create a new world. With the infinite Tsukiyomi, I will realize my dream of creating a world with no chakra. In the end, I will have the most powerful chakra and I will lead the way. And that's what you are. You are me, not Obito. Back with audience. Piss off, Obito yelled. Back with the orb. Uchiha Obito had the chakra of the Uchiha, and he competed with Hatake Kakashi and wanted to be Hokage, but all the power was make-believe, so he lost everything. This is hell. Have you forgotten? Come, Mother extended an invitation. Come, Madara. Even now you're still the savior. Back with the audience. Oh crap, Obito's going to join Madara again. Don't worry. Obito groaned out. I won't trust me. Back with the orb. Obito walked up to Madara and plunged a hand into his midriff. Back with the audience. Yeah, get fucked. Obito cheered before he covered his mouth. Sorry. He grinned. I've overlooked it this time. Minato smiled. You made it back after all. Right, Obito? I'm back. Obito nodded. Back with the orb. A person who leads others as long as he is able to climb over his own corpse would never climb over the corpse of his comrades. Leaving everything up to someone by giving them your name and having them pretend to be you is not the same as entrusting to a comrade. Obito, through singing orbs, started changing shapes. Now I understand. I am not you. Back with the audience. Give it to you all, Obito. Rin cheered, showing us all what saving the world is supposed to look like. Back with the orb. The staff of the sixth path formed in his hands. Who I am now is the man who wanted to be the Hokage, Uchiha, Obito. Link break. Obito started crying in the audience, so did Minato, so did Kakashi, who gave an approving nod. No longer lost. It took some time for everyone to collect themselves, Obito especially. Obito, at last, you finally came back to yourself. Minato beamed. I'm sorry for everything, Sensei. I'll do everything I can to make it up for you in this time. Inoichi took a deep breath and started his technique once more. Back to the orb. Madara tried attacking Obito but slipped right through him. Obito managed to take some of the one tails and the eight tails chakra. Kakashi, bring Naruto to this time-space dimension. Naruto, there's now. Kakashi flickered to where Obito was standing. Now if you can get over there, you'll be able to save Naruto, right? Yeah, leave it to me. Obito panted. At this time, I'm the lead. And you're the backup, Kakashi. It's been a long time since we brought out the old two-man cell. Don't get sloppy, Obito. Back with the audience. Minato couldn't help but smile growing on his face. Fukaku nodded. Give Madara hell. He stood up and clenched his fist. Show him the true power of Uchiha. Back with the orb. Kakashi and Obito both activated Kamui as the truth-seeking orbs flew towards them. I never thought both of them would use Kamui at the same time. They'll never be able to teleport at twice the speed. Back with the audience. Take care of my son, Obito. Back with the orb. Sakura got into a defensive position as she saw Obito arrive. Can I trust you? Obito slowly ambled forward. For a long time now, I haven't been able to walk a straight and honest path, but now finally, I've come around. Obito put a hand on Naruto's chest. Back. Link break. That's Kai. Kakashi looked in awe. Back with the orb. For once, I'm happy to see you. Are you alright, Kakashi? Kai smiled. And this is where I'm going to be leaving this part of, guys. I hope you like this one, and if you do, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you like this part of the channel. And I'm going to be making an hour-long episodes per series. I hope I can make them a regular based things. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And this is Apollo Uchiha, and I'm signing out. Peace.